Right, I've just reset my sort of like trip meter in the Tesla. What we're going to do, we're going to have a look to see how economically it differs from driving on a motorway route compared to driving on just normal roads. This is in the electric car. We've got about maybe 15 to 18 miles to go. I'm just going to head over to Wigan to go and do some instructor training. So I've got a little bit of a drive. I'm going to go on the motorway on the way up there. We'll have a look at the consumption, and then I'm going to drive back home a different route and see whether it differs. I'm going to drive in my normal way. I'm going to do my utmost to keep things moving. I'm not going to break any speed limits, and I'm just going to accelerate in the normal manner. We're going to see, like I said, what the difference is. Anticipation's the key if you're ever driving with fuel efficiency in mind. If you know what's going on with a set of lights, you can plan and adjust what you're doing to sort things out. But I'll break in at certain times of this journey if there's anything that I need to talk to or talk about. That's what we'll do. I do have air conditioning on. The temperature's 18 degrees, and these Teslas, because of all the glass, can be a little bit of a greenhouse on occasion. So I've got the temperature in the car, so I'm going to set that to 18 degrees, although it's the same temperature outside. Just the air conditioning just keeps it that little bit cooler. So we've got the air conditioning running in the car. I am going to have the radio on at certain points as well. So we're not cutting down on absolutely everything to eke every last mile out of the energy we've got in the battery. I'm just going to drive normally. So plan to keep moving as much as we possibly can. Closed junctions like this, extra slow, because even if you travel at this speed that I'm going at now, honestly, it's an easier job for the electric motors, or in fact the engine, to get the vehicle moving again. I've had to accelerate so it didn't cause the white one a problem behind, but acceleration can eat into energy and obviously miles per gallon if you're driving a internal combustion engine vehicle, but it can also eat into your mileage here. So acceleration, again, I'm not just going to eke every single mile out of every kilowatt. I'm going to use it how I should. If you're emerging, you shouldn't cause people any inconvenience, so sometimes it requires a little bit more to get you out and going. The plan for the cyclist is to hold back until they have negotiated the bridge. If I back off early, I can actually keep a higher average speed, and that's the key to best fuel economy. Although I think this guy was struggling. I think he was in the wrong gear a second. The beep was for the cyclist and the vehicles potentially coming the other way. Do my utmost again to keep things flowing. By slowing more, it allowed the BMW to be passed a little sooner, and I can again keep things rolling. This all saves energy. If you're in a situation like this where you are going to be waiting for a while, consider turning your car off. I'm not going to do that in the electric one, although I am going to put it in park so my brake lights aren't dazzling people behind even in the daylight. Although it doesn't affect me, it can affect other people. Consider doing that, but yeah, consider turning your car off if you are going to be waiting for a while. I'm going to make sure I plan this to keep moving. I'm going to just keep up with the flow a little bit. We've got a car turning. We're all good there. Private hire weighted nicely. We can flow. Brake lights are on up ahead. Underneath the bridge. That probably means the lights are on red now, but they may be on green when we get there. Let's see whether we can make this happen. So again, I'm backing off early, and I'm giving myself more chance for these lights to change, so now I'm able to keep a higher average speed. This Citroen to my right hasn't anticipated well, so I'm just mindful now of this guy. I think he's decided to tuck it back in behind, but I was always ready to accommodate. Accommodating others allows everyone to flow. Just shows you people's anticipation isn't what it should be. Did make a good decision though to tuck it in behind, so fair play to them. Okay, so we're heading for the M58. Could the lights change? They could, so I'm always ready to stop. I'm not going to jump any lights. Knowing the world, you should ever sacrifice safety over fuel economy. How should I accelerate with the next set of lights being on the colour that they're on? Well, gently again, taking my time. Just do your utmost to keep things moving. But if you move through the lights, you're then at a higher risk of people jumping this side, causing you issues. So if you ever time it well, be careful of people crossing, walking in front of the vehicles, although it shouldn't happen here, but it still could, and people jumping late. What colour are the next set of lights going to be on when we get going? Could these change? Well, they could. So I am going to accelerate away, but I'm not going to race to try and make them. Always anticipating stuff. Could stop, could stop, could stop through. We are following for the M58. So while I'm on the motorway, I am going to be doing 70 miles an hour where possible. Although it's pretty obvious that driving at a lower speed, if you're happy doing the same speed as the lorries, maybe up to 60 miles an hour, that's going to save a fair bit of fuel and energy if you're driving an electric car. So consider doing that if you're totally happy doing it. And I often do. I often sit in lane 1 with the lorries and just set my cruise control to their speed and just trundle along with them. It's quite a nice relaxing way of doing things and taking journeys, in my opinion. So here we are, approaching 70 miles an hour. I'm going to use the adaptive cruise. There we go. Cruise control maintains the speed more economically generally than we can do it ourselves. So if you've got it, if risk is low out on these roads, try and use it. So we've got the whole length of the M58 to go up. It's another 10 miles up this road, pretty boring. So I'll get back to you if anything comes up of note. Planning lane changes, like I've just done, also aids fuel economy. If you arrive up behind someone and then have to accelerate for your lane change, and just keep an eye on lane 3 in case this Vauxhall wants to come out, or the lorry in particular wants to come out because they're really close to the one in front. But if you have to accelerate for your lane change, that uses more fuel. So I'm constantly aware of other people's actions, and if I can move out a little earlier so I don't have to slow down whatsoever, I'll always do that, and you should be looking to do the same thing. Now a little bit of planning, because I'm coming to the end of the motorway in just over a mile, and I'm planning it this far back. I'm always looking for the best opportunity to create best flow, because don't forget there's a massive link between best flow and best fuel economy. I'm looking for that perfect time to head out. Now I do need to do a right turn at the roundabout that comes up at the end, so I'm just watching this Land Rover or the Range Rover to my right hand side. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to let the adaptive cruise just start bringing my speed down, because the vehicle's in front. It will do that automatically, and then that's created again a nice little space for me to tuck it in behind. Just getting rid of adaptive cruise because I needed to back off a little bit more, make certain there's no issues in front, and I'm trying to plan again what's going on with the lights. We've already seen they're on red. It's a balancing act as well. I don't want to steam in, but I don't want to create too big of a gap that then I miss the green cycle. So now they've cycled onto green, I'm making sure I'm keeping up with the flow, but I'm also mindful of the risk here to this side. I've used as much as the regen as I possibly can, and again tried to keep a higher speed as I can going through the junction, and that then again aids economy. It's worked out nicely. I'm picking up the clues already what colour the lights are going to be on round the corner. They're going to be possibly changing, so I'm just ready for that. Again, safety always overrides fuel economy, and we're okay. Signal left fine. It does help the vehicles around me definitively know I'm going in this road, and that was quite a successful little section, because a big junction like that, it's quite unusual for you to just keep flowing and just keep moving as I just did there. Creating acceleration space in front of me, but I'm mindful of the black Audi behind. Just mindful of this turquoise fronted lorry. He's okay, lane 2. I'm just going to emerge in behind him, so therefore he wants to come in, not an issue. So it's not long before I take the exit as well, so I am again going to make some progress. Accelerating smoothly to match and suit. Each lane change is separate. Let's get out and let's get going. Normally for me, I would probably, because I know my exit's only a couple, 2 or 3 miles away, a little bit further up the road, I'd be more than happy just to sit in the left lane in this situation. So honestly, you don't have to do this. Doing what I would do normally probably saves a little bit of fuel as well, or electric. My Tesla was fully charged when I left mine. It was on 100%. I've done this journey and it's down to 92. Checking the consumption when we get a little bit closer to my destination. Again, another junction to keep flowing. Perfect. Right, I'm quite near my destination. I'm not going to go right up to where I need to go, because it's a little bit of ADI training. But I'm meeting someone up here who is doing a little bit of training with me, so I'm not going to show everyone where they live. So I'm just going to get round this corner, and if there's a little place to park in, which there is, we'll just park in. Okay. Right, let's have a little look. Car's in park, seatbelt's off, so the car's effectively off. Let's have a little look at what our economy was, and I don't know this, as you can see, it's just straight from the off. Let's get me video going. Alright, record. Let's go to where we need to. It's here, it's on the car, and we've got trips. And it's the top one that we're looking at. So, we've covered 20 miles, duration's 32 minutes. We've covered, or an average energy of 247 watt hours per mile. So, let's compare that to what we do on the way home. But first I'm just going to convert these figures into something that's more universally recognised. Tesla uses this watt hour per mile figure, and effectively the lower the number, the more efficient you are driving. But a majority of people work off the miles per kilowatt hour value, and it's actually quite simple to convert. All you do is put a decimal point in front of the hundreds column and divide that into 1, and that gives you the miles you use per kilowatt hour. And here, the bigger the number, the better. So after my training had finished, I reset the trip computer and started my journey back home. And remember, this isn't going to involve motorways. Little fly in my car, let's get rid of that one. also brings me on to something that might affect economy: windows down or air conditioning. Which is worse? Now, I tend to find having the air conditioning on is not as bad on the fuel economy as it used to. It might be something that I discover in a further video. Keep your eyes peeled for that one. So the navigation wants to send me back on the motorway. I'm going to go straight on at this roundabout and, like I said, head towards Ormskirk, and we'll see what's what. It'll also be interesting to see just how much longer it takes as well. Is it going to be a little bit shorter? Like I said, I'm not sure, but time-wise, not 100% how much quicker it would be going on the motorway. Time will tell. Okay, Parbold Hill, we've got a 14% gradient going down. That's steepest ever, but it's pretty steep for this area of the country. This is all good for economy, because all that my car's doing all the way down here is not using any energy to go down the hill. It's all recouping energy, so this is going to help. Like I said, this sort of route going home, is majority of it is going to be downhill compared to going uphill on the way out. Electric cars that change the amount of regeneration you can have could also be a benefit in this situation, because what I'm actually having to do to get the car going, even though it's downhill, is actually use the accelerator a little bit. So I'm using a little bit of energy, whereas if I could change the amount of regen in this Tesla, I could have maybe lowered it down and actually made use of the hill and allowed the car to roll a little bit. So maybe that's something you could think about if you're thinking about an electric car and you are really considering the best possible economy. It is saying on my car that I should reach home with 84% charge. Now, what was it? I think it was 92, maybe 91 when I finished my journey. So it might be similar, but we're probably looking at it a touch better if my car's giving me the correct info. Although you could probably tell with the speed of that car coming the other way, a left signal when you are going ahead at a roundabout and it's the first exit is required. That also adds into fuel economy, because if that vehicle had put a left signal on, I may have not had to slow quite as much. So remember, your signals put on at the correct times actually help other people with their economy too. Use them properly. Haven't done well here, queuing traffic. One thing I've noticed with Tesla as well, that the windscreen wipers stop when I put it into park. So even though you're trying to do the correct thing by not dazzling people maybe around with the brake lights, or not having the brake lights on because it's in park, if it's raining, you'll stop being able to see clearly what's going on and what's happening. The time of day also does need to be taken into account with this homeward journey. It is 3:34 in the afternoon and the schools have not long gone back in because it's raining. Schools are back in, school times. More of the parents are going to be taking the cars to go and get the kids from school. So that has to be a big part of the the equation with what we're trying to do with today's video. It's as though it's not helped by people blocking the roundabout, stopping the traffic from flowing from this direction just because they can't get into their exit. And good to see this private hire doing a good job. Well done, buddy. Are the people going to be let across at the roundabout? You should give way to the people who wish to cross at the entrance. You're alright, buddy. I think the weather was a little bit better on the way out, wasn't it? I'll be surprised if we get through Switch Island in one go. Guaranteed stop and hold up here. There's a space in front of you, buddy. Staring at me rather than looking at the space, I think that was. The course are going to wish to come across as well. He ain't got a clue where he's going, is he? A little bit of leeway, give him some space, give him some time. Count the red light jumpers. What do you think? These lights going to change? I would say so. Anticipation is always the key to economical driving. Try and plan spaces that you can fit into from a long way back. Again, keeping things moving helps massively. Now I must admit that journey on the way home has taken a hell of a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I think what's proved by that is if you get a chance to go on a motorway and time is crucial for your journey, obviously take the motorway. But it's going to take me over an hour to get home, where I think on the way out, I can't be certain, like I've said, 35, maybe a little bit over 35, nearer 40 minutes to do the journey on the way out. So there's a bigger difference than I thought. Let's get myself home. We'll have a little look to see how we've fared on the way back, and we'll make some comparisons. Right, that's us done. Let's get me phone going for a little bit of video and see what's what. Okay, so again, this button, we have trips here down on the left hand side, and what have we done? So it is 19 miles, an hour and 3, and it's 188 watt hours per mile. So it's a fair bit more efficient. However, I don't think I would be doing that just to save a tiny little bit on electricity. I think, to be honest, most vehicles, not necessarily this one, but most vehicles would probably use a similar amount of fuel, maybe if not more, doing that second journey than the first one. Let me know what it's like in your car, what you drive, and how that would tot up for you. Keep safe, everyone. I'll see you soon.